What up? And we're live from overcast and gloomy and chilly South Central Los Angeles, California. I'm Mark, and I'm a recovering codependent narcissist. If you happen to hear any fireworks or loud explosions, I presume it's because Mexico either won a World Cup game or possibly we're being invaded by aliens. I'm not really sure. I'm going to go with World Cup until I see a flying saucer. I'm codependent. I'm codependent as fuck, and I have a lot of narcissistic traits. I know this, I admit it to myself, and I'm admitting it to everybody. I'm not hiding in my toxic shame anymore. What is codependency? It took me a while to figure that shit out. I learned it from a tarot deck. I pulled a card and it told me to end a codependent relationship and embrace interdependence. And that's really how and why I ended my last dysfunctional relationship, whatever you want to call that. I really took it as a sign from God or the universe or your higher power or whatever. Pay attention to that shit, homie. Pay attention, man. Those synchronicities, those messages you get from the universe are so subtle sometimes. And then our lens of perception messes with it all anyway. So really clear yourself and pay attention, because God is talking to all of us all the time. Maybe there were signs before that were telling me this, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to listen. Because it really is true that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I talk a lot about codependency, but what is it? What is codependency? Here's some things that might sound familiar to many people out there. My good feelings about who I am stem from being loved by you. My good feelings about who I am stem from receiving approval from you. Your struggle affects my serenity. My mental attention focuses on solving your problems or relieving your pain. My mental attention is focused on pleasing you. My mental attention is focused on protecting you. My self-esteem is bolstered by solving your problems. My self-esteem is bolstered by solving your pain, relieving your pain. My own hobbies and interests are put aside. My time is spent sharing your interests and hobbies. Your clothing and personal appearance are dictated by my desires, as I feel you are a reflection of me. Your behavior is dictated by my desires, as I feel you are a reflection of me. I am not aware of how I feel. I am aware of how you feel. I am not aware of what I want. I ask what you want, and if I am unaware, I assume. The dreams I have for my future are linked to you. My fears of rejection determines what I say or do. My fear of your anger determines what I say or do. I use giving as a way of feeling safe in our relationship. My social circle diminishes as I involve myself more with you. I put my values aside in order to connect with you. I value your opinion and way of doing things more than my own. The quality of my life is in a direct relation to the quality of yours. So I'm not all of these, but I'm most of these things. I'm like 90% or more. I'm codependent as fuck, honestly. But the great thing is that I don't have to be. I can recover from these things. And it starts with setting boundaries, saying no. And I never learned how to do that as a child. And that's how I got here. because my feelings and emotions were never validated as a kid. I was never allowed to say no. I didn't even know what healthy boundaries or really any boundaries were. And I'm still just learning that. This is new shit to me. I'm fucking 37 and I'm happy to be here. I'm not big into cocaine. It's probably my least favorite drug. In my opinion, it's really a low consciousness, ego fueling substance. When I do it the next day, my brain feels like there's a hole in it. I mean, it's really kind of awful for me. But at the beginning of the year, it was showing up a lot in my life at certain parties I was at. And I thought, if it was showing up in my life and I wasn't paying for it, then it was okay to do, because maybe it was, an alignment from the universe or something. It was, but just not to do it. It was to set boundaries. And I wasn't doing it a lot. I probably did it like 5 or 6 times in 5 months, which is more than I'd done in the last 10 years or so. And the last time I even thought about doing it, when I was out at a party, I remember coming to my friend right before I was going to do it, and he turned it down. He said no. And I was like, whoa, stunned. No? That's what you do. You just say no. You turn it down. You can say no to something or someone and they won't get mad at you. Whoa. I mean, like, so whoa. I had no clue how to do this. That was such a huge turning point for me. Really looking back on it, or other people out there might look at it, at this decision of what I was doing. It might seem easy or so simple just to say no, but that was not in my vocabulary. That was not in like how you interact with the world. Because if I said no to my mom as a child, man, that could possibly trigger my mom's rage. My mom was a rageaholic and abusive. So saying no could lead to, rocking the boat. It could trigger rage. It could lead to my physical or emotional abuse. So I learned like early on to never say no and to just become a people pleaser. And I learned that from my dad. My dad couldn't say no either. All I wanted as a child was to spend more time with my dad and doing things, like any young boy would. I always wanted to do things with my dad, like shoot hoops or like kick a soccer ball, go on a bike ride, normal things that sons want to do with their father. But my dad was kind of a workaholic. He was always too busy for me, but he would never tell me no. He would always say maybe. And for a long time when he said maybe, I thought there was a chance. I would just wait, and hopefully he would get around to the maybe would be yes. And I would wait and just had a lot of hope that would happen, but it rarely did, because in my dad's vocabulary, he'd pattern match maybe to no, but he never told me no. It really wasn't until I was a teenager that I confronted my dad about this, because it hurt my feelings so much. All I wanted to do was spend more time with my dad and to experience life with him more. And to me, he just always seemed really busy with things. In his own way, he was a workaholic. He definitely was a workaholic. And my dad died of prostate cancer. And I firmly believe that it was the stress of his job and not knowing how to process his own feelings that led to his cancer. I'm really sure of that now. So now at the age of 37, I'm learning to say no and to set healthy boundaries, which is pretty awesome, honestly, because it makes me feel safe. It allows me to trust myself more and have more faith in God and the universe. And I learn a lot about setting boundaries now for my 2-year-old niece, because it's at that age when you're supposed to set boundaries. Um, when you say no to everything and anything, you say no just because you're trying to separate yourself from your parents because you want to become your own person. And it's totally okay to say no. The first time my niece told me no, it hurt a little bit. Honestly, it hurt my feelings because I thought that her saying no, maybe it meant that she didn't love me anymore. But that's not true. That's just how I think in my crazy brain. The next time she saw me, she gave me this giant hug and probably didn't even remember that she told me no in the first place. Oh, I can guarantee you she didn't even remember that. But I had taken it personal because that was my learned behavior. Saying no isn't personal. Actually, most people, what they do is not personal. It's just what they're trying to do. People are just trying to do their best. Everyone here is trying to do their best. This was like new behavior, though, when I realized to not take things personal and that I take things personal more than I think I do. So I learn a lot from children because they're they really are pure love. This is what I'm trying to get back to. I'm really trying to get back to being more childlike in a way. I'm doing this by helping to I do a lot of inner child work now in meditation. It's pretty great. Um, I really believe that this new generation of children, the indigo children or whatever you want to call them, are really something special. I really believe that these children they're going to change the world, honestly. And that what I'm here to do or what other people are here to do that are waking up is probably just to be a bridge in between during this paradigm shift. To be this bridge for these higher consciousness beings that are coming into this world. And I'm okay with that. And that's one of the main reasons I work on myself, amongst many other reasons, I guess. But one of the main reasons is to help the children of the world, because I really think that's what the real Holy Grail is all about. And I've seen this in altered states, that's what I'm here to do. And honestly, I'm honored to know that. Whatever my intuition is telling me, I'm super honored to understand this. I'm incredibly grateful for my newfound awareness. Incredibly grateful, man. You have no idea. It makes me a lot. It puts me a lot more at ease. I know what my purpose is here to do, and that's comforting. I get a lot of comfort out of that. If you find this message, I'm sending you so much love. You have no idea. I know it's so difficult to just step outside of the herd and begin to think for yourself. Just to say no is fucking difficult for people. I know. I know more than anybody. Because I understand you and I understand your pain. I understand where you're coming from. And I love you. Thank you for letting me share. And thank you for letting me be of service.